Hi, welcome to Get Known Be Seen Web TV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen, and it's my absolute delight to bring my special guest to this show is Tracey Lawrence, all the way from Northern New Jersey in America. Welcome, Tracey.
Hi, Trish. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely delighted, absolutely delighted. I'm looking forward to having our conversation. Tracey deals with people that I have a really soft spot with, and a selection of people that they don't look after themselves, and not many people look after them. So I'm looking forward to delving a bit more into that. So before we go into that, let's find out a little bit more about Tracey. Okay. Tracey Lawrence is the founder of Grand Family Planning, LLC, and the author of Dementia Sucks, A Caregiver's Journey with Lessons Learned. And we're really going to delve into that. Having been primary caregiver to two parents who succumbed to dementia, as well as to her husband, a cancer survivor, Tracey has a unique perspective on the issues surrounding caregiving and the challenges of staying healthy and productive under extreme pressure and stress. She started Grand Family Planning in 2014 while her mother was in hospice. Recognizing that millions would be facing the same struggles she had endured, she conceived of a unique approach to coaching families through the transitions and health crises. During her time caring for her mother, Tracey kept a journal, which formed the basis of her groundbreaking book, Dementia Sucks, released by Postal Press in May 2018. Tracey's commitment to raising awareness of the growing family caregiving epidemic drives her business and her professional speaking and training programs. Wow, Tracey, this is a big area, and I think it's one that doesn't have much of a light shone on very often. So let's just delve into, wow, how did you get from all of that stress and that to deciding to really go out there and to where you are now?
Well, Trish, I was a graphic artist before my parents got sick, and I've always been a creative person. And I consider my personality one that seeks to answer questions that other people have a tough time finding the answers to. And when I became a caregiver for to my parents, it occurred to me that the resources were terrible. It was just so difficult to find what I was looking for, and and the hits just keep on coming. When you're taking care of somebody and they're declining, and your heart is breaking, and you're trying to keep everything moving forward, and trying to find answers to these terrible questions, and it's such a challenge. So when I got to the point where I knew my mother wasn't going to live much longer, and that the things that I had done and the things that I had learned were so valuable, and I couldn't bear the thought of just letting them go. So, while I was taking care of her, I was journaling, and that became the basis of the book.
Mm.
But I had also, I'd done a number of different things. While my mother was sick, I actually took a position as a financial advisor. I was hired into a program. I knew nothing about financial advice except what I got from my financial advisor. And that was like one thing that I really didn't like, but I wanted to learn about it so I could help other people learn about it and help myself and my parents, because when I was starting to take care of my folks and needed to manage their money, I didn't know anything. And I got so much bad advice, and I was tired of it. So I became a financial advisor, and I learned about that aspect. And then while my mother was in her the last year of her life, she was hospitalized twice, and I was kept having to take time off from my job to be with her because she had dementia, and she couldn't push that button when she was in the hospital, because she was out of it. And so I kept taking leave, and finally, when I was getting to the end of my leave period, I said, I can't do this anymore. you know I just I want I have to do something else. And I spoke to the people I was working for, and I said, look, my mother's dying. She needs me. And I can't keep running back and forth. I really need to be with her. And they said, you know what? Do what you have to do. We're behind you. And we part friends. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
So, and so I was able to take a breath, and, you know, and when my mother needed me, I was there for her. But then I started thinking, what can I do with all this knowledge? What can I do with all this stuff that I've uncovered? How can I help other people with this? And so I created this business called Grand Family Planning, because I realized that in order to be really prepared for the kinds of things that happen to caregivers, you need to be able to do very comprehensive planning, not just the financial stuff, but also the legal stuff and the medical stuff. And we're just really documenting so much about your loved one, so that when somebody needs that information, you can bring it out and say, okay, here it is. So I launched Grand Family Planning in 2014. I made it an LLC, and I started this. I had this idea that because there were so many facets, I wanted to be able to offer people a collaborative environment, so that when somebody came to me and said, I'm worried about my parents, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's figure out what you need. And then I can put together a needs analysis and a plan for you. And I can also bring in my teammates. So I can bring in people who know how to collaborate, so that we can work together for you. So, you know, more things would get done more efficiently, less issues would fall through the cracks, and their lives would be calmer and better because of it. And it's been difficult, because when I started it, I started from a place of, well, what would I have wanted if I were just starting this now? But the issue with that was that I was coming from a place of already knowing what I needed. Most people, when they come into it, they're a deer in the headlights and they don't know what they need. So I had to change my approach. And then, of course, I realized that human nature works against planning for this stuff, because we deny that there's ever going to be a problem like this. And then once we realize that we can't deny it anymore, then we procrastinate. So it's really tough to get people to be proactive.
Yeah.
And that was when I committed to getting my book out, because a year after my mother had passed away, I went back to my blog posts and reread them and thought, oh my God, the book that I need to write is already written. I just need to polish it up and make it a manuscript. So I did. I shared it with some people. I got some wonderful feedback. And, you know, my niece, who was in her 20s at the time, said to me, you know, I can see people my age reading this book and really enjoying it. And I thought, okay, I got something. And so I committed to getting it published. And in May of 2018, Post Hill Press published my book. So yeah, and that was really exciting. But then it was a letdown, because I thought, you know, here we go.
Yeah.
And then it's a book. And, you know, so, you know, and then it was like, you know, the push to, you know, raise awareness and help people to learn about it. And last August, my book hit #1 bestseller status on Amazon in 4 categories. So I'm very proud of that.
Awesome.
And, yes, and I also started developing a speaking business, because, you know, most people who decide to become speakers then scramble to write a book to support their speaking business. But because I had a book, I wanted to speak, to raise awareness about the book and the topic, so that people would understand what dementia is about, what caregiving is about, the dangers of caregiving, the challenges, and really, get the message out there, because there are so many people aging at such an astronomical rate, and their adult children are having to step up, and they don't know what they're getting into. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. That is a very long journey. 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. And unfortunately, it makes what you just said sounds easy, but it's not being that easy. There's a
no.
lot. There's a couple of things in there I just wanted to bring out before I sort of go on a bit more. This is a global. So I just thought I might get you to explain what an LLC is in America, just for those who are American.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. An LLC is a limited liability company.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a way of establishing a business entity that represents your company, that protects you as an individual.
Yep.
So if somebody gets mad at Grand Family Planning and they come after Grand Family Planning, there's a barrier between me. And there are certain tax advantages and things of that nature. So it's like a corporation, but it's more appropriate for a one-man band like myself.
That sounds, that's about what I thought. But I just thought we might just clarify for some people who might be in other countries that are not aware, like in Australia, it's a PTY, private, PTY limited, same sort of thing. But I just thought, let's clarify that. I like to make sure everybody knows where we're on the same level playing field. And it's a good option for some of your businesses, people. Not everybody has to do it, but in some respects, it can be a good option, especially partnerships. That's one thing that I'd recommend. The other thing I'd like to bring out from what you were sharing in that really short section was you versus clients' needs. It's a big one with people starting their businesses. They think they've got to start their business because, and they think they're going to share all these things because these are what they need to know. It doesn't happen that way, does it? It's
right.
What you know and what you think everybody wants to know. It's not necessarily what your clients or the people you're dealing with actually want to know.
Right. And also in the beginning, I used to talk to older people. And it was funny too, because they would hear Grand Family Planning and they'd hear the family planning part and they'd say, well, it's a little late for that, don't you think? And I was like, oh, because my idea with Grand Family Planning was grand family planning. So 3 generations, right? Grandparents to grandkids. But they heard the family planning part. And so I said, oh, well, it's not about birth control. It's about life control. And that became my tagline. So I was like, I really meant to say that. So
I like the tagline. But yeah, I could just imagine these old people having a good old chuckle. I don't know what she wants to talk to us about, but hey.
Yes.
So how did you then go about finding what was it exactly that you need to give your clients? What do you think?
Well, it's the big aha for me was you really have to put it across in a way that makes them understand what's in it for them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because I'm dealing with a topic that can be really serious, there's a lot of teaching and storytelling that goes into my business. So, the book is a very big part of it. I also do a lot of webinars and a lot of instructional events, speaking events, and I'm finding, people are now approaching me because the topic has become so important, and there aren't a lot of people talking about it. But the numbers of people who need to know about it are ballooning.
Yeah.
And so I am working with a lot of individuals now, and it's really starting to come around again. I've also been leveraging social media. I created a group on Facebook called the Good Kids Club, because I realized that a lot of people who are caregivers don't identify as caregivers.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, which is when I want to get to them, right?
Yeah.
And they think of themselves as just being good kids.
Yeah.
They're just helping out their parents. And especially now, during this pandemic, where so many people who a year ago were perfectly self-contained and self-possessed and independent, didn't really require anything of their adult children. But now that's shifted, and they're feeling more vulnerable, and they're relying more heavily on those adult children. And so these adult children are getting a preview of caregiving.
Yeah.
So I've been putting that out there and messaging people in that regard. Just look, are your parents asking for more favors than they ever were before? And do you have the time? Are you able to meet the challenges of helping your parents while your kids are home, school, doing their schoolwork from home, and you're working from home, and it's like just all this chaos is going on, and everyone's world has changed significantly, but the caregiving issue has been accelerated.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to really like get that out there, and it seems like the messaging is really starting to resonate.
It's like one stress after another, and it's all building. And normally, people, the kids in that position would ease into looking after their parents. It just sort of might happen slowly. And by that time, probably their own kids, maybe even a lot older. But as you said, everything just has been one on top of the other because of the homeschooling, their stress, they're working from home and all that. So that would be your business, obviously, would have been going up a little bit and increasing. How did you manage to, did you have to do anything different with all last year lockdown changes and that? Has that affected your business? What did you do to change that and keep going?
Oh yeah. Well, at first it was very sad for me because I was getting these great speaking gigs. I was supposed to be on the Queen Mary 2 for a dementia cruise, and I was going to be in Boston on the 4th of July.
Oh no.
That didn't happen. And so, and those kinds of opportunities were just starting to come, so to have to give up, and I really, I enjoy being in front of a live audience. I like making the eye contact, and I like, seeing when I say something that hits somebody the right way, they light up, and it's like, yeah. So, the shift to everything Zoom. But the thing is, Trish, I've always been a very technically savvy person.
Yeah.
So I've embraced the technologies, and I was even I had been doing some talks with some friends of mine, and we were having trouble drawing, and this was before the pandemic struck. In fact, we had one that was like just as the pandemic was striking, like in early March, and getting people to show up was difficult. And I said, we got to start doing these on Zoom, because whether or not people show up, you can still present the content, you can record it, and you can redistribute it.
Absolutely.
So it's not time wasted, and you're still getting to your audience with important information that they need to know. They just don't know how much they need it right now. So, and since then, the gals who I was working with on that project have gotten a real good look at what this is like. And they're like, oh boy, you were right. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, but yeah. And so, it's given me the motivation to really like go all in with this, and I use a service called eSpeakers, which connects speakers to people who are looking for speakers, and I'm virtually certified. So, so when people want to hire me, they know with confidence that I've got the tech in place that will enable us to have a successful interaction. So, things of that nature, it's just, you just look for, what you can do. And now, of course, I'm doing webinars, and that's been a really interesting addition to my business. And I've been kind of tying all those things together to get my message out, to get myself being seen, um, to get myself in front of the right audience, speaking their language. And I'm finding that people are they're expressing gratitude for these things that I'm putting out, because they're getting information that they haven't been getting other ways, and they're bringing their friends. So,
Brilliant.
and so it's nice, it's now it's starting to build, and I'm feeling like I'm finally focusing on the right tools for my tribe. As I certainly understand their language, and I understand their issues, but now it's a matter of increasing my visibility to cut through the noise of the other stuff that's out there,
Mm.
and you say, look, I'm not looking to sell you guys anything. All I'm looking to do is educate you so that you'll take better care of yourself.
And that's, and
And if you need more tools, let me know. I got some.
I love that. And people, you need probably about now need to stop this interview, rewind, and listen to what Tracey has just said, because there's so many gold nuggets for you and your business, any business that you're doing, any product, anything that you want to do, that Tracey's just shared from her journey. I like the fact, know languages and the issues, and that's a paramount foundation if you're wanting to connect with your clients. The fact that Tracey's gone with her clients out, she's looked where they are in social media and Facebook. And I love the Zoom, and I love what you just said about Zoom. That's awesome. I think from my perspective, as my clients I work with and those businesses I work with, those people who were able to change last year had the byproduct that they discovered is the global reach. And that's something that you would have found too. It would allow you to have reached a lot more people than just what you might have done doing your business normally without this having hit. It might have taken you a bit longer to think about going onto Zoom and doing that, may or may not. But now you've been able to reach a lot more people. And I think that the global reach that's come out is probably the best thing that's been happening. With your book, I love what you said about you got your book from your blog post. My favorite words are repurpose and leverage. And I talk to people about, you don't have to write your book from scratch, because you've probably got most of what you need there. And what you've just said is that, so that was a great help to you being able to go back to those blog posts and pull out for your book.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, Trish, I was, before I even had the thought about making it a book, I was glad that I had it, because when you're in the heat of crisis, when you're caregiving a loved one, there's so much that gets muddled, and you forget stuff. And going back through it, and I was just so glad it was documented, and I really enjoy reading my writing, because I have a sense of humor and I make myself laugh. I know that sounds that might sound odd for some people, but I just kind of reliving certain things and seeing it through that kind of humorous prism. It's something that's enjoyable. And at the time, it was really it was a catharsis. It was something I needed to do, so I wouldn't lose my mind. So it's served me in so many ways. The immediate effect of being able to dissipate all the emotions and anguish, and being a document that I could refer back to, and then it becoming a story, and also becoming an instructional guide. So it has many purposes.
Awesome.
And I'm very happy with the way it came out. I'm very proud of it. And
You should be.
and my publisher did a wonderful job on the cover. I love the figure on the cover, who's actually, and people don't realize this, that's my mom.
Brilliant. Oh,
Yeah, because that's the way she thought of herself at times,
that is
as
good.
this, this fabulous, gorgeous fan dancer that men found irresistible. So
Good. I mean, what a memory for your mum, of your mum. It's there forever. I mean, that's one of the things why I talk to people about writing books. I help them with that because I say it's a legacy, and this book is not just instruction; it's a legacy to your mum.
yes, yes, I made her like a little bit famous in my little circle. So
I think the little circle is growing a lot bigger, and she
I
would be
hope
very,
so.
very happy about that.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's, and I hope that, that people get the point that it really is, it's a very loving and funny, and affectionately offered read. And I want, through reading this, I really want people to kind of light up and realize that, this happens to most people. And, and by preparing yourself for it, and being on the lookout for certain signs that perhaps you'll be a little bit more proactive in your life, and take care of some things while you have the time. And that's what it's really all about.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So you, one of the ways that you went about getting your book out there was speaking. Were there other ways that you used to let people know about that? Because I saw what you said, that you wrote your book and you think, yay, and that was not gonna, nothing else was happening. So what other ways did you look at to get it? Because it's now a #1 bestseller on Amazon.
Yes. Well, lots of talks, lots of social media posts.
Mhm.
Um, I've done some really fun author talks. I've done courses. The first course that I did was at a local college, the Bergen Community College. They have something called the Institute for Learning and Retirement,
Yeah,
and I presented Dementia Sucks, the course.
brilliant.
And yeah, and it was great because I talked to people about, caregiving and how to prepare,
Mhm.
and it was all retired people. And what was really interesting, Trish, was that for the first time, I had two students who had dementia.
Oh, yes. We forget, don't we?
Yeah,
But it can be the other way round.
yeah, yeah, and it was really interesting. The one fellow was there with his wife, who was it, she was really there for the content,
Mm.
and she was caregiving her husband, so she had him with her. But another gentleman actually he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and he was looking for information about how to help himself.
Wow.
And I connected him with some resources that I had uncovered, and I don't know what happened to him, but I'm hopeful that he pursued it, because there are things that you can do if you are in cognitive decline to help improve your prospects. There are some doctors who've done some amazing studies, and they've actually been able to reverse cognitive decline.
Brilliant.
So, it's important. But I love giving the class, and I recorded the class, and the sessions are on YouTube. Um, and so that's part of my YouTube channel. I also have a course on Udemy called the Family Care Survival Course,
Love it.
and the book it's portions of it are featured in the class, and I actually give away PDFs that contain chapters from the book as part of the course. So nobody has to buy anything. They don't have to buy the book to take the course. Although I'm hopeful that after they've taken the course, they might actually want to read the whole book.
Well, that would be the hope. That's awesome. And again, people just pay some attention to some of those suggestions that Tracey shared, because these are ways of shining that light. And honestly, people, the best person to speak about your business, your book, yourself, your message is you. And no one's really going to find it unless you shine that light and step up. And these are some of the ways that Tracey has, because she's got such an important message. She didn't want to leave it lying behind hidden under a bushel and just hiding. So she's used Facebook and social media. She's used speaking to get up. Author talks, awesome. Being able to get places where you can speak about your book. And I love the fact that she's also talked how she's turned it into a course, because that's an evergreen thing. And again, when she was saying, when you're on Zoom, you record it, it's evergreen, meaning evergreen people out there. It could be used over and over. It means people can access it. And it means that you don't have to be there. It means your message is out there for more people. Awesome places to go for all that. Absolutely. So where's Tracey going now? How are things looking, and where do you think you're going to be going in the future? What's your goals and plans?
Well, my goal is I actually want to approach businesses, and I've been working on that angle. I want to provide businesses with courses for their employees who are beginning to have to take care of their aging parents, or who have that on their radar, because it's a huge problem, especially here in the States, where companies have not really embraced the idea that their employees have this issue. And so I want to work with these employers to create courses where I show the employees how to utilize their benefits packages intelligently,
Mm-hmm.
how to apply for leave so that they get compensated, how to exit in an emergency, so that if, say, a loved one falls and they're in the emergency room and you got to go, who do you call? Who's your point person who knows your accounts, who knows how to pick up for you, so that if you got to be out for a couple of days, they're going to be able to make sure that you're used. So I want to provide those kinds of services to employers so that their employees are better equipped and make them more productive at home and in the office. And because, again, so many of them are working from home, it's another touch point for the employers, because you don't want to be constantly looking in on them, but at the same time, if you're providing these kinds of ongoing communications for them and these learning tools for them, then the employees are going to be more engaged. They're going to be more loyal, because you're providing them with something that's meaningful for them, that enables them to be more empowered in their lives. So that's my next big thing. I want to be working with the employers, because if I'm working with the employers and the employees are still at work, that means they're not caregiving full time. I'm getting to them earlier, so I can get them to be more proactive with the blessing of their employer. So they're going to be more inclined to actually do the kinds of things that I'm suggesting they do.
Awesome. Absolutely great direction. Okay. We could talk carers for ages, because it is a one that's very close to my heart, but we need to wrap that up. So a couple of questions. Your top tips for getting out there, for being able to step up and be seen. What do you think?
Okay. All right. Well, number one, I would say know who you're talking to, because too many people have a tendency to want to talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if you narrow your focus and you speak to the people you want most to speak to, and speak their language and talk about things that are of concern to them, they're going to pay more attention. So you will have higher quality interactions with them. So you want to go and be with them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the family members, the adult children that I seek to communicate with are on Facebook. But the business people are on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So you want to know, you want to know who your target is, and speak to them in their language on a platform that's appropriate for them.
Awesome. Good tip. Love it. Love it.
Thanks.
And your biggest lesson? What's been your biggest lesson and insight?
My biggest lesson. Yes. It takes a lot of time to become an overnight sensation.
Yeah. But
And
it's worth it.
yeah, and you never know when that's going to happen.
No.
Because when I got the book deal, I thought that was it. I'd arrived.
You've
And
just got to work on it.
yeah, but the thing is that it's success is in how you see it, how you define it.
Yeah.
So in a lot of respects, I think I'm very successful because I'm a good person. I like who I am. I help lots of people, and when I talked, today's a woman was asking me about references, and I said I would be happy to connect you with people who've worked with me, but I have to keep their identities confidential, and I can't just like give you their phone number. I have to talk to them first. But I know that when they do connect with that person, they're going to have wonderful things to say about me because I helped them do something that nobody else could have done the way I did it. So, that's that's success to me.
Absolutely. Love it. Okay. You have a free gift for people. My viewers, there's something that you're offering as a free gift. It's you see, your 8 topics. It was an ebook and a sample of your book as well.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. That means it's 8 topics you must discuss, and there's a sample of Dementia Sucks, which is just a free chapter. You've got some links for those?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And they're in Dropbox, and that I will make that link available so that
I'll put
people can download that.
Yes, the links below there, and they can contact you. Whereabouts was the best place to contact you, people?
Okay, real easy. DementiaSucks.com.
Brilliant.
And all of my other stuff is connected. That's one website that talks about the book, but there are tons of other links that will get you to me, and you can see my media and all my stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. And people, I would suggest that you go and connect, just even to have a chat with Tracey on this topic, which is so vitally important for so many people, and something that is growing because our population is growing. Age is coming in. There's going to be a lot more people over 50, 60, 70, and they're all going to need support. So thank you so much, Tracey, for being with us. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. There's been so much information, not just for my people wanting to get known, be seen, but information for people out there who are caregivers. Thank you for sharing on such an awesomely great topic.
Trish, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. People, you've been watching Get Known Be Seen Web TV with me as your host, Trish Springsteen. Now, Get Known Be Seen Web TV is available for people who have a product, a message, an app, what a business that they suddenly decide that they've got that courage and they really need to tell people what's happening with them. So if you'd like to have something like that, I'd love to have you as a guest. You can contact me. There's links below. It's also available for those people who are experts in getting known, be seen. So if you've got expertise, knowledge, strategies on how you get up there and get known, be seen, I'd love to have you as a guest as well. And again, you can contact me on there. Not only that, people, if you would like me to speak on your stage, whether it's face-to-face or online, or as a guest on your podcast or web TV, I would love to be there to share my story. And again, you can see links below to go and see my media one sheet and my speaker one sheet. I'd love to be available. Don't forget to subscribe. Below here, there is a subscribe button. Make sure you press that subscribe button, because then you will always be notified when I have awesome guests like Tracey who are coming on, and you will never miss a show. Until then, be awesome and be back with another show shortly. Make sure you rewind and listen to some of the gold nuggets that Tracey Lawrence has shared with us today. Thanks, Tracey. Bye, people.